Might have been the link that I sent them. I'll go check.
Okay, well, in the meantime, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, with that, we are, the board meeting is called to order. First of all, this is the, not the regular meeting. This is
Budget hearing.
a budget hearing, capital projects fund budget extension hearing. So what we'll need to start things off is a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll second. Great. Any questions about the one item on here?
So it's the general fund budget.
It is the general fund. The topic is wrong on the, I just changed it, but
Thank you, Jan.
that should say general fund instead of capital project fund. It's
Okay,
okay.
that's
right.
that's what I read, but you know, central office stuff, you call it whatever you want,
Here
right?
comes my,
Oh, good. Tell him to pledge the flag by himself and then join us. All right, well, we'll continue then. If there are no questions or not questions about the agenda or deletions or additions, we'll move on then to, hi, Myron. We'll move on to public questions and comments. I suspect not. Nathan, is there anybody there? Are you there? Thank you very much. Then we'll move right into new business, which is the approval or non-approval of our resolution number 15-23/24, general fund projects.
General fund budget extension.
Thank you. General fund budget extension. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the general funds projects budget extension thing.
And I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. Any questions about it? It was like for $4 million and some change.
Yes, and again, to accommodate an additional 407 full-time equivalent students with our ALE Insight program, which of course then, because we are getting more revenues and we have more expenditures, we couldn't spend more than we said we were going to spend. And so if you look at the overall difference, it's 49 million some odd dollars and moving it to 54 million with ending fund balance of a little over 10 million. And Jan's here if you have any very specific questions.
Okay. I don't see the ending fund balance thing.
If you
here.
go into supporting documents
okay, never
and then
mind.
scroll all the way down.
I did see that. Okay. All righty, and we get that. Oh, we've already gotten that money from the state, is that correct?
Well, we will
Will.
get the money, yeah.
So we're just covering it now out of our fund balance. Cool. It's nice to be able to do that.
We have estimated our, Jan has encumbered as many of our dollars from here till the end in August and done a projection of what we're going to spend for summer school. And that's where she's come up with the expenditures. And there's cushion in there. Jan, about how much cushion do we have in case?
Roughly $1 million. We have $1 million contingency. I left that one.
Yeah.
Good. Oh, we're in good shape.
We should be covered, yes.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Well, all right. Any other questions or comments about? Because if there are not, and we have a first and a second motion. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say no. Nobody opposed. It is resolved that we extend our general fund budget. We're adjourned.
Thank you, Jan, for doing that.
Yeah, so we'll see you next Tuesday for the general meeting, right? No, just kidding. You can stay. Uh-oh,
You don't
never
have to
mind.
stay.
Tom left too, so. Tis that, oh, there he is.
Sharpen my pencil.
I was gonna say, tis that time of year when we're the only ones here. Great. Well, then let's,
Good. Thank you, Jim.
yeah,
Now we submit to, well, the ESD has it, we submit to OSPI. I'll certify it tomorrow and then we'll move it on to OSPI and then they approve it and we're good.
okay. There shouldn't be any problem.
Yeah.
Our new budget.
All righty, see you later. All right, now I'd like to call to order our regular board meeting of,
Are we starting the board meeting a little early? Because on the invite said 6 p.m. I just want to make sure that, because I know I need other people here.
oh, okay, no, you're not. We're just getting started.
So, okay.
Glad you tuned in early.
But you can let, if Sheila's coming, because we didn't know how long the budget.
Sure.
hearing would
Yeah,
be.
I'll let Sheila and Jen know.
Okay.
Thank you.
You want us to wait? Nah, we'll just go ahead. Okay, so now we're going to call into order the regular meeting of the Gulf Valley School District Board of Directors for June 24th, 2024. We've already had a Pledge of Allegiance in the previous meeting, so we'll dispense with that in this one and move right to a motion to approve the meeting minutes of our regular meeting of May 28th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of May 28th.
Thank you, Shannon. Is there a second?
Second.
Great, Kevin. Are there any corrections or, corrections? Good. That makes you feel good, doesn't it? All right. Well, good then. All those in favor of approving the meeting minutes of May 28th, 2024, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. They are approved. Is there a motion to adopt tonight's agenda for a regular meeting?
I'll make a motion, we adopt tonight's agenda.
Thanks, Mike. Second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Ron. Okay, any additions to this or things that need to be tabled till later or moved around? No corrections? Then I'm not hearing any. All those in favor of adopting tonight's agenda say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say no. It is adopted. Nathan, anybody? We have no public here, so is there any public there? Oh, no, he's dead. Tom, do you have anything to say?
Good evening.
Make a note of that and highlight it. All right. Well, then we'll move on to our consent agenda. Is there a motion to adopt tonight's consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to adopt tonight's consent.
Thanks, Kevin. Second?
I'll second it.
Great, Shannon. All right. Any questions about it? It's
Lot.
what I'd say would consider to be a long one.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that Mabel is leaving.
Is she gonna follow?
No, she has a 3-part contract in the Lacey area with the Lacey School District. She'll do a third of her work, a third with OSPI, and I can't remember what the other third is, but really focusing on mental health services. But the one thing that I would say, which we were dependent on her, is our mental health tele-ed program, because she supervised the interns. So without her here, we don't have a supervisor for that. And there were 48 families accessing that program. So that is, she's done a lot to really help us with our, what I call our tier 3 mental health services. So, but we don't hold anyone back, and we wish her well. I know she was really torn, but sees it as another opportunity. And then the other thing that I would like to make note of, we had a really late retirement. I think notified just a week and a half ago. Tammy Klebe, who's been with us for almost, I think 17 years. I hired her in my second year. And so we're going to miss Tammy. As you can see in the library already, looks very different.
Yeah, all the goodies.
But we wish her well, and I know that in talking with her, she'll be spending time with her aging parents and focusing on their needs. So we'll miss Tammy.
Do we have a replacement? Or-
We posted it like our other jobs, and I will be looking at screening candidates. And
How
that,
about Maybell's?
we have it posted as well. I don't know that we have any applicants, but we'll be looking for candidates.
Okay.
I had a question.
Yes.
On, contact, this one?
The video marketing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question.
Which one's
I don't know
that?
what that is.
So, several things are coming up. We have our EP&O levy coming up.
Where are
We'll
we?
be doing some advertising for it. And we also are getting ready, hold your horses, because we're getting ready for our 100th year anniversary. We were formed in, the Quileute Union was formed in 1925. So we're about a year and a half out. We'll be planning this next year with the committee of citizens to help us plan an event that will probably coordinate with Heritage Days.
Okay.
And then ironically, there's a company working with the Clallam County website where they're trying to showcase schools, hospitals, just so people can see who we are. And so I met with their team. They're giving us a discount. They're going to do a professional video with Ariel, interviewing kids, doing a lot of video footage and pictures of our showcasing our programs. We'll include Insight School of Washington too, and then some of our historical information, kind of combine it. It'll be really, and then we'll own the video. And so we can showcase it on any of the social media channels, our own website.
How long will it be?
It'll be 3 to 4 minutes.
Better take them out till that. Show them where the old school.
I'd like to go out there. I'd like to see that.
So they may want to interview one board member. Like I've looked at 5 different schools. They've done this across the nation. They're pretty cool. I could show you some examples. And they'll put a storyboard together, and then once we approve it, they'll come out in early fall and do all the videoing when the weather's really nice. And
Talk about jinx.
well, yeah, I shouldn't say that, right? They'll come out on a rainy day. But anyway, good question.
So this,
Bill needs to be ready.
this
Not me.
is
Wait
for
a minute, I have
the
a
video and.
Yeah.
So
it's
the board
con-
member ought to be somebody who grew up here and went to school here and has a history here.
Ooh.
Oh, gosh, do we have any of those?
No,
We have
No?
3. No, so I've watched 5 different ones that they've produced in different states, and they all at some point interview one of the board members or, take a picture of board members who's visiting a classroom with kids. I mean, usually they're pretty student-centered and staff-centered, but then show a little bit of the local history. I think it'll be a good opportunity for us to
sounds
tell our
interesting.
story. And then as we get closer, I'm meeting with the Chamber of Commerce, probably Christy Barron will help spearhead because she does a lot of the events with the Hickory Shirt Days, where our vision is to get kids interested so they can tell our story and figure out how to get kids interested in 100 years of history. I've got a pamphlet, a big, large newspaper that was done sometime in the 90s that Adria Furman put together of all the history of the Quileute Union. And it's pretty robust. It talks about all the single schoolhouses, where they were located.
Wow.
Yeah, how the 3, I think Quileute, Shuwa, 3 guys, you would know them. One of them is Palmer, I can't remember him. How they donated their 3 schools to form Quileute Union, and that's when the old building was. And it was Quileute Union High School until about 1940-ish, something like that. And then they changed it to Forks High School. Colors used to be that and gold, kind of that your shirt color.
Oh, like a turquoise.
Yeah, turquoise. Mhm.
Wow, really?
But anyway, it'll be fun to do.
Yeah, well, and it'd be fun to show the students that clip,
Yeah.
the video making, because
Yeah.
they'll be, they get to see it from all angles. Hard not to take pride in this place when you see it kind of on whole.
Be fun.
Yeah. Make sure it's a sunny day though. Everything looks better.
Anyway,
in the
it's a
sun.
company out of New York, so they send their crew once they get once we approve the storyboard of what it is, then they come and they do a week worth of videoing. That's
For
what all the
13
cost is.
For $13,000, they'll send it. No, I mean, that sounds cheap to send a crew from New York.
It's only 3 to 4 minutes long.
Mhm.
Why can't it be a half hour?
Because that's 39,000.
No one will watch it then.
Nobody will watch it that
Yeah,
long.
yeah.
Yeah.
Quick video.
Yeah.
Nobody has that kind of an attention span anymore.
No.
But they'll film for a week.
Yeah.
And then they'll
To get all the
They'll edit
videos,
it
yeah.
and-
Mhm.
Yeah, cool.
And
Any other questions about the consent agenda?
Yeah, I had a couple.
All right.
Hanson, they're gonna be doing the third party that we usually do yearly, right?
No, so, okay,
Or
that's
this
a
is
good,
something different?
that's
What
a
was
good question.
I didn't hear it.
And Mike had called me about it, but it's for the state study and survey. And before we can begin our planning for the middle school and before we work with OSPI to find out what matching dollars we get from the Common Schools Timber Funds to build a new school, you have to do what's called the state study and survey. If you remember, Bill comes in with his ICOS every April.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's
this
tied
was a
into
third
this.
party.
It's part of that, but because these are older buildings, well, the one that we would replace is 50-some years old, I think. Well, no, it was built in 54, so I messed that up. It's 70 years old. Anyway, so they have to come out and assess the building and all the buildings, and then put a cumbersome report together, and they weave in the ICOS. It's a very scripted report, and then once we get that done, we submit it to OSPI, and they reimburse us for the $25,000. There's a grant that we get, and then that actually starts the process for the planning. And then I'm getting a timeline of events that you'll see starting in September that we'll be doing over the course of the next 2 years in preparation for going out for a replacement bond. It's not a new bond. It's replacing the old one that paid for this high school.
Will there be any overlap in the bond?
Probably not.
Okay.
And it tapers off, so you could weave in the new one. It's just going to be a matter of how much it costs.
And then, there's also a bill form for 35,500. Not the same though, right?
No, I believe that is the payout for services. It's either I'll have to look and see. It's either for the rest of the engineering for the elementary school roofing or our final project over here, the restroom. Can't remember which. Let me take a
Okay.
look.
And then, Lakeside, $2,200.
Okay. When we looked at the restroom project, there were 2 places that we did not pull all the rocks out and pave.
That little V
It
by
was
the
like-
gate.
It was minimal, but if we left it in there, it would have looked really sloppy.
Well, I noticed it.
And so we could either do a change order and then you pay additional money to the contractor, or we just did it outright, and we just did it outright.
But did they fill it in?
Mhm. They pulled all the rock out and filled it in.
That little V by the gate?
Mhm.
Huh, when did they do that?
When they did the rest of the payment.
No, it was there when we took the tour yesterday.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. I
No, it
looked at it.
I don't think it was.
Yes, it was.
I think it's done. I'm pretty sure it's
I'm
done.
positive it's not.
Let me
Let's just
text.
go out there and look right now.
We could go out and look, yes. Yes. I thought it was done. Maybe it's not.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think
I
so.
think it's
I
done.
looked right at it.
I
And
think
then to
it's
bring up
done.
an argument.
All
You and
right.
Bill's
well,
gonna have to go out there. We'll excuse
Aside,
it.
aside from that, well, they must have done it last night. Okay, where were we? Questions on the consent agenda? Anybody else?
And do we have any students that are visually impaired?
Yes.
Are they blind or just visually impaired?
I'm not sure where on the spectrum,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that.
as well as hearing impaired.
What?
Hearing, what?
Kevin.
Nailed her.
You got me.
All right. Good, then if there are no more questions, all those in favor of the consent agenda say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any of those opposed, say no. None are opposed. The consent agenda passes. It's consented to. New business. Time to make a decision on all the hard work that the administration has been doing on contracts. I'd have to say, just in preamble, that it seemed pretty seamless this year with not a lot of renting of clothes or gnashing of teeth. So that in and of itself to me is pretty impressive. Well done, administration. Diana.
Thank you.
So first up is approval of the public school employees. Yeah, just a minute though. You know, the number 1 and the number 3, they read the exact same way. Are they the same union?
Hang on here, did I get the wrong ones? So the first one is the PSE, Forks PSE, which is our classified staff that includes our paraeducator support, maintenance, cafeteria workers,
Right.
classifieds, office staff. And so I put, if you look at the language, I did not have the final document. There's a hard copy final document that we got this morning. Yeah. So it is actually the Clear Valley School District and Public School Employees of Forks. It looks like the transportation one. The other one is different. It's transportation.
Yeah, well, I saw that,
Yeah.
but I just
Yeah.
wondered they're called the same thing.
And so you can see in your board background all of the changes that were made, the blue with the new language, red with the crossing off of the old language, and then it's woven into that document. And they've already ratified. All 3 groups have ratified, which means they voted on it and they voted on it together. Then the second part of
May I
it,
ask how the votes went?
I don't ever know other than they passed.
Okay.
And so for the public school employees, classified support staff, they're asking for a total of 20% over 3 years. Their first year, 10% in 24-25. In 25-26, 5%, and in 26-27, 5%. And so over the course of 3 years, that'll be at $804,000, which our budget can support. In the first year, it'll be about $363,000. And again, this is dependent on if we can fill all positions. This is dependent on when we hire positions, where they come in the salary schedule.
Right.
And it's also dependent on what happens with legislation over the course of 3 years. We don't know. They could give us more funding. They could give us less funding.
So is that in line with the rest of the peninsula?
That really gets them. There are some school districts that have higher salary wages, like Cape Flattery generally is higher than we are. If you can imagine, they have an even harder time attracting employees. And they also receive additional funding because of their small school and also being on a reservation. They get paid
money.
Yeah, but we're close. We're in the ballpark. Yeah, if not higher than some now.
Are we the only school that's done with their bargaining?
Depends on who's bargaining for what groups.
Oh.
But yeah, we finished really early. In my almost 20 years, we have never finished before the start of the new year. And so we don't know. Right now, we're getting ready for our budget cycle. So Lindsay's putting in all the new contracts.
That'll make that easier.
Yeah, I mean, they won't have to redo it twice once we would ratify it and you approve it, if you approve it. And then the other thing that is interesting, what they asked for, and Lindsay can give you the data, is that there's new certification that the classified staff can get. If they get a general certificate, then they get 25 cents an hour more. If they get a general and a special, which is either special ed and or ELL, then they get, I think, 50 cents extra an hour. And so it just gives incentive for staff to get more
Training,
Training.
education.
And then I believe where the state is going with those paraeducator certification, that really is a pathway where somebody worked with kids and they really liked it, where they could include those hours of additional learning into a bona fide certification for teacher if they went and got their 4-year degree. So it's an incentive to train your staff and to train as you go.
I hope there's some takers. You had your hand up, Hazel?
Oh, sorry about the noise. I had
didn't hear.
messaged Jen and welcomed her to the group.
Oh. I didn't hear.
That's good.
Okay. Anything else, Ron?
No, so the one, what's the deal with the, went 30 to 60 days behind that on the substitute and temporary positions last longer? It used to be 60 days considered work days.
It's just an incentive.
Section 810.8.
That was confusing. That was confusing.
Yeah,
I didn't quite follow it either.
so cut it in half.
Right. We went from, we used to have positions that would last, let's say that we have a vacancy and then we fill it temporarily with someone until they were 60 days. Then we would, we would have to post it within 30 days rather than wait for 60 days.
The position, but the
Uh-huh.
person
Once it's
can
vacant.
continue to substitute until you find the position.
Unless it's a position that is somebody's approved leave or something, then we don't have to post it. So basically, if we have a vacant position and let's say that somebody from the front office at the high school leaves and we put somebody in there temporarily and we don't post it, we're out of compliance. We have to post it within 30 days.
10 to 60.
Mm-hmm.
So we hired Jananne Meyer as a homeschool plus, but her letter is talking about a reading specialist. Is she a reading specialist at Homeschool Plus?
No, she applied for an in-district employee. All they have to do is type an email if they're already employed.
Oh, so this is an old one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Disregard then. All right. Any other questions? Did we already vote on this?
No.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have motions, but we haven't voted, right?
Did we have a motion on that one?
No, we did
We
not.
didn't have a motion.
Oh, never mind.
new
I asked a question about the consent. Geez, I'm sorry. Okay, is there a motion to approve the public school employees of Forks collective bargaining agreement, September 1, 2024 through August 31st, 2027, with the attendant salary schedule for those same years?
I'll make a motion to approve the public and school employees Forks collective bargaining agreement, September 1st, 2024 through August 2027.
Okay.
I'll second.
Great. Any other questions about it while we were doing that? Okay, all those in favor? Oh, go
On
ahead.
all these, I guess we could bundle them all up into one. There are drafts on here, but we're approving the draft. Or we approving?
You're approving the draft. They ratified the draft.
Okay.
You guys then approve the draft. Once
As
it's
is?
ratified and once it's approved here, then the draft goes away.
So then we see the final document.
And
And we
all the
voted.
red line and all the
And
blue
then
line will go
we'll be-
away.
But we don't vote on it again, do we?
No.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we're voting on what's in here.
Right, with all the corrections,
Less the
additions,
red.
deletions.
Okay,
Okay,
gotcha.
so with that, we're say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. It's approved. Second, number 2, approval of our Forks Education Association collective bargaining agreement, same date, September 1, 2024 through August 31st, 2027, with the attached salary schedule for the same years. It is for our certificated teachers and staff. Is there a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion, we approve the Forks Education Association collective bargaining agreement, September 1, 2024 through August 31st, 2027.
Great.
Salary schedule 24, 25, 25, 26, 26, 27.
Okay. Is there a second? And you don't have to repeat that.
I'll second it.
All right. Any questions about the teachers? No? The only thing I see is that beginning teachers are still down in the dumps. It seems to me.
They've come up quite a bit though in the last few
Yeah,
years.
but
And they're almost, I think, by the third year starting at 60%. And that's pretty typical of what we're seeing in the region. And then the top end, we're comparable. Although I don't know where like SQUIM and PA and where everybody is in their bargaining cycles, but I would imagine, again, in looking at the capacity of our fund balance, knowing that they asked for 18% over 3 years, 6, 6, and 6, we'll get there. We have the budget capacity for that.
So how many do we have that are maxed out?
Maybe 1 or 2.
Oh.
Mhm. In fact, Ron asked me to have Lindsay get the scatter plot together. If you look at the pay scale, how many do we have here? How many? We'll get that together for you here when we're doing our budget. Right now, she's in the process of getting
everything. into
yeah. In fact, that might be something that Hazel and I could work on, their placement. There's still some teachers who are turning in. They have till September 1 to turn any professional development hours, which might move them up or over in the pay scale, but we'll give you a good rough idea of where they are.
And how long does it take again for somebody to go from step 0 to step 1? 1 year? 5 years?
1 year.
1
That's
year.
on a 1 year. So they're constantly getting a year.
Up to 16.
Right. It's moving down when
All right,
you get the
yeah.
additional, you have to get additional professional development hours or more.
If you want to
education.
get the base bump.
Mhm.
Yeah, gotcha.
And
Okay,
then the only other thing that I didn't mention with the other contract, which we've got it in all 3 contracts, we have a really important EP&O levy, replacement levy coming up. And we will be putting that on the ballot probably in February of next February. And it ends on December 31st of 2025. In the event that we had a double levy failure, we would lose quite a bit of money, almost $5 million. So there's clause in the end of this, if there were any significant financial changes where
We could
you would
reopen.
Yeah, I heard that.
That's like your safety net.
that's good.
I do not foresee that happening, but
You never know, best be prepared for it. All right. I believe we have a motion and a second. All those in, any other questions about the FEA collective bargaining contract or agreement? All right, all those in favor of approving the FEA bargaining agreement, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Say no. None opposed. It is approved. Third, under new business, is the approval of the public employees of Quail Valley School District, CVA, from September of this year till never. There's no ending on
Oh,
that.
till 2027,
27, just like
yeah,
the rest.
yeah. And
Not
that
lined
one
up
is our
below.
transportation,
Right.
yeah, that doesn't have the forks in there, that's how we tell the difference between the two.
How is our salary compared to other transit type systems and other school buses around?
Well, if you looked at the pay scale that you hopefully will be approving, we're looking at a 25% increase for 24, 25, and then a 9 and a 9, which is a total of 43. So if you were a beginning bus driver today, you would make 26. If it
27.
would start and you approve in the next year, it's 33.61. The following year, 36.64.
Yeah, I guess that's all right. Yeah.
And then the third year, a starting bus driver would make 39.94, and 30 years plus 45. And that's competitive, not necessarily for CDL,
Right.
depending on if you're working where you get prevailing wage, you're in a union.
Right.
We're getting closer. I don't believe we're in alignment with Clallam Transit, but we're getting better.
And our bus drivers have access to health care and all.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they get paid 6 hours a day now?
No.
No.
So what we did is we condensed the money so that they're getting paid for 4, but they got the higher percentage.
Works out the
It
same.
just-
It just
yeah.
doesn't look as
Mhm.
sloppy. Yeah.
What's a motor pool attendant?
That would be if, like, for 1 year, we had some real far out places where it didn't make sense for the bus to go like past the hoe
Oh,
or
yeah.
somewhere, and they
Someone-
just drive the van. We
Yeah,
don't usually have that. It's a very odd year if we do.
And what is the, okay, yeah. Did we raise, or what is the rate for people who drive their own kids to school buses? Is that just the
That's
straight
by the-
mileage?
That's by the state.
State
There's a state
mileage.
mileage. I think
Yeah.
it's 67 cents per mile.
Okay.
And it varies.
We pay their, physicals for their CDLs.
We do.
Not on this one.
Okay. Thanks. All right, any other questions? We can dispense with it when we get into the motion then. Is there a motion to approve our PSE employee collective bargaining agreement for 24 through 27?
I'll make a motion.
Thanks. Second?
I'll second it.
Great. Since we already had a question and answer, any other questions? All those in,
Can I just make one more comment?
sure.
I just want to thank the bargaining teams that we worked with, and then their what we would call uniserves. We had really good, thoughtful communication around why we were changing language to help understand what some of the problems are in the school. You can see we changed some language around discipline procedures.
Yeah.
It was really very productive. It wasn't argumentative. It was really like we care about making it better for our workers and consequently better services for our kids. So I felt like it was very productive, not combative. And again, our staff
We're on the
who
same page.
agreed to be on the bargaining committees, we used their time outside of the school day to do the bargaining. So it went really well.
That's great.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't always been that smooth.
It can be a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was great this year.
I felt like it was very, what I would call collective and interest-based, where our interest was serving kids.
2 thumbs up. All right. So now what am I doing? We're voting. We have our motions, right? And we've had our questions and comments. All those in favor of adopting the PSE collective bargaining agreement, i.e. the transportation guys and gals, spend their salaries, please say aye.
Aye.
If you oppose it, say no. Then there are no no's. It is approved. And now This is kind of out of order, but that's okay. We're into reports. First one
Got
is a
it.
leadership report, and I don't see anybody.
So we have
Are you
Myron here.
Jennifer? Kidding. Don't see Jennifer.
Myron is Jennifer? Is she
She's
here? Okay, I don't see her on the screen up here.
I
so
know, I don't either.
Let me introduce.
No,
Jen.
yeah, we have Jen here, yeah.
Why is she not
sure
up
why
there?
she's not showing.
Where
Let me
are
see if I can
you?
pull it this way.
I promise I'm here.
I see you.
Yeah, we can, there
See
she
you on my
is.
computer.
Well, we can't see you, but we can hear you.
Okay. In that case, I'm not going to share my screen since you can't see me. Do you all have a copy of the 5-year plan that I sent out?
We do.
Yay. So welcome to my second annual CTE 5-year plan report.
Hang on one second, and Hazel will put up her copy of the 5-year plan. We can't see Sheila either. Hi, Sheila.
Hi there. I can see everyone.
So can I.
Um,
So the state asks that we give a report to the school board every year about what our 5-year plan is for CTE. And Brenda filled in her parts of it for Forks High School. And I did the part for Insight. And Forks High School applied for some dual credit articulation agreements this year. I'm not sure which ones they received yet. I wasn't able to find them online yet, but I'm sure they are there. I just looked in the wrong spot. And they work to strengthen their existing pathways. And my understanding is that next year and the years after, they're going to start expanding their CT options, both at the high school and the middle school. At Insight, we are expanding our pathways, specifically in the healthcare sciences part. We added healthcare explorations this year, and we're prepared to add pharmacy technicians to the program this coming year. We got 25 dual credit articulations using both Olympic College and Peninsula College, and our students earned over 2,500 credits, or had the opportunity to earn well over 2,500 credits altogether this year. And our articulations for Python programming and cybersecurity will be in place in the fall. They had a little bit of glitch in getting that done. Our curriculum development, that was what I was just talking about. Change the page. So our instructional materials have not changed for either school from what I understand. Right now, this year we used Code High School and some Adobe and Microsoft products. Next year, we'll have the same products. They'll just be offered on different platform. We're switching to MSI for Adobe and Microsoft products. And then we have a one-on-one laptops for students in need. And I believe at the high school, they have for all students. Forks High School also this year expanded their CTSO programs and added in Skills USA and participated in FCCLA and added FBLA. No, they added FBLA, they already had FCCLA. We reduced down to just Skills USA and added health science in middle school to that. We had students place in state and qualify for nationals in medical terminology, the first year competing. And we also participated in a national CTSO through Stride, and we had kids place in the top 20% in that competition, which was national. And our membership continues to grow in those programs. And then you can see the professional development. I attended the WACTA conferences. I'm part of the WACTA area groups, both for the Great Northwest for Forks and close to where I live. I attend them each month. And my teachers had the option of working towards 25 hours of clock hours. It says bi-yearly, but they will do it every year. And we met 3 times this year for our GAC, and the the community members are giving my teachers really great feedback about what we should be teaching and what needs to be done in the future for our kids to be successful. So, any questions for me?
Well, I don't know if it's for you necessarily, but it might be.
Okay.
So how many students do you expect to be in your CTE courses? You're adding different ones, so I take it there's a demand in this area, or are you just expanding in this area in anticipation that if you build it, they will come?
A little bit of both. So CTE is one of the graduation pathways offered by the state. If kids can complete 2 credits in the
Right.
same pathway, they can graduate. And that's the way most of our students are able to graduate. So we offer those programs. The health sciences, we started that a couple years ago, and we've just been slowly adding pieces to it each year. So the culminating piece of our health science pathway is the pharmacy tech program. And our health science teacher said the kids are super excited to have that opportunity to get that certification.
Okay. So that leads me to, in the Quiute Valley, each one of them, or at least in the, which one is that? I guess it's the first one, the CT 5-year plan. For Forks High School, it says strengthen existing pathways with local business partners and industry certifications. And I have a poor memory, so that may be why it's not clicking with me. But we have that all the way through to 2028, and we just don't have that many local partners here. So it seems kind of, to me, it seems hollow, to ring hollow, because we just don't have, unlike ISW, where you've got students scattered all over, you can make contracts with people at Boeing or Weyerhaeuser, or a farmer out in Tri-Cities, or an agricultural sort of situation. It just seems really weak for us.
Well, one of our challenges is the amount of students that we have. So we really have Danny Winger with welding and auto tech. And then we have Shelley Castellano with our culinary arts program, which really is probably has the most room for students. And then we have somewhat of a business path, but it's not very developed. And it's the software that we're using is outdated. That I know Brenda is very interested in changing, modifying, adapting that program. But if you look overall and you look at the 24 core, and I know that Myron and Jen can really chime in here, that when they're talking about the CTE option, a kid can now graduate with Smarter Balance passing, with scoring a 30, I think it's a 30 or above on ASVAB, scoring high on your SAT, or it's the other one, ACT scores, or by doing a career pathway in CTE. But again, our problem is when you are limited with students and you're trying to get your academic core done, it really splinters those programs. We can't have 10 different programs in Forks High School and have a teacher that has 60 kids in the program. If they teach 5 sections and there's 12, it's a potential for 60. We're lucky if we can get.
Well, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. But my question is, I guess it hasn't been made clear to me what pathways we are using in our community. We've got grocery stores, coffee shop or coffee stands, motels, and timber. And what students, if any, what pathways are there in those industries that have been developed in our district? And I haven't really seen that, it just says we're strengthening them, but to my knowledge, I don't even think we have any, but I could be wrong.
I can address that.
Can you?
Yeah. So you have culinary arts, which is the food industry, and Shelley does a great job with those kids. And the food there is amazing, by the way, if she hasn't fed you yet. So
And
that
they get a certification, they get their food handler's card.
right. And she was also looking at getting some dual credit for the culinary arts to get college credit for it. And then Danny does the welding and automotive repair.
And do we give certificates for that?
There's options for that. I don't know that it's set up yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're in the process because Peninsula College has a welding program where in theory, if he gets his welding class aligned with what they expect with their first level of welding, then let's say that you take welding here at Forks High School.
You can go into the
You
second
can go
one.
into the second course as long as he's teaching everything that's being taught there. And we're working on that partnership, but there's some coordination that we have to do with the college for that.
And I've been working with Danny on getting his stuff aligned as well.
Okay, so final question, since related to that. So can kids here in the brick and mortar partake of the ISW pathways?
I would love it.
That's something that Diana and I've talked about in the past, and we are certainly open to that conversation. It's just about coordinating how to do that and make sure that they can get the instruction. So that's one of the things that Diana and I have talked about, but that's certainly an opportunity.
Yeah, we especially talk about it when we're in our Washington DC trip, and you look at blended hybrid programs. But then you're also looking at, I just want to throw this out there, that if we have 60 kids going to Running Start in the junior class, and then you have next year our senior class, literally there's 40 kids, I think, or 25, 30 going to Running Start. We're left with 30 kids. So then if 20 of those kids do an ALE version of CTE, you're also pulling away from our programs here. So you want to be thoughtful about when you offer, for example, a great thing we would love to have, because there's a medical pathway in our community that is dying for local workers. If we could do the intro to health, healthcare, whatever I can't remember what you call it, Jen and Myron. I think it's an introduction to health career pathways. Is
healthcare explorations.
Healthcare explorations. That would be a great freshman class that kids might want to take and say, hey, I think I might want to be a nurse at Forks Community Hospital. They do that. And then the second year, maybe they take another one, but that would be only one period out of their schedule. And what we've talked about, we've just never really articulated or figured out how to do it, is they go for a period where they have access to a computer and they can access their curriculum there if it works out. Part of it is the coordination, because Insight School of Washington have students, they have to participate in the course work somewhere.
Okay, kids used to get, way back when, Microsoft certifications and other IT kinds of certifications, some of whom went on and did great, or have great careers, in IT. I know that that program, or at least those classes, are using basically obsolete materials. And that would be a good one that we could offer CTE credits or certificates for, that I think is kind of fallen by the wayside.
Brenda and I have had conversations about that this year, because she didn't recognize the program that had been used in the past for the business classes. So we were talking about what the current ones are and what she needs to do to bring them up to date.
Okay.
Wasn't it called DigiTools?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the old one. I mean, so what we would need to determine is, do we do a Google platform certification, or do we do IBM? Or, I mean, we'd really need to hone in on what that is and then make sure our teacher is trained to deliver that. But I believe they're already starting in the 7th and 8th grade with Dustin Fiesel. He does work with CPE in the middle school and then build upon that.
Yeah, okay.
And then the only
I think it's worth pursuing at the high school level, programming and, the things.
Yeah.
We don't need Microsoft Word anymore because there's so many other different things to do, so it's ridiculous.
How to use Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Yes,
there you go.
that.
Well, or, you know,
I have fun with that.
cybersecurity stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, I'm done. Thanks, Jennifer, for hanging in there with me.
Oh, and I wanted to address one of your other questions that I think you forgot you asked in the first round, and that was about the industry partnerships, the limited number of industries in your area.
Yeah.
So the state requires that we have what's called a General Advisory Committee, and we meet 3 times per year, and each teacher is supposed to have a representative on that committee. And technically, there should be more industry members on the committee than teachers. And the Forks High School folks have had a tough time getting someone to come to the meetings. So the part of their goal is to strengthen partnerships so they have someone who actually comes to the meetings and that they can communicate with. And then also to expand it so that we're within state recommendations and requirements.
Okay. I'll try and remember all that. Okay.
Oh, yeah. We have also kids who are getting into fire.
Mhm.
We have what?
We have quite a few kids who participate in training to become firefighters.
Volunteer.
Volunteer
Oh,
firefighters, yeah. Then the only other thing that I see coming our way is that we will be able to offer work experience credit. The legislation passed, I think now where a student can get 2 credits of work experience. They have to meet certain criteria. We just haven't put the board policy in place, but that's another way where we can connect with the industry.
Okay.
And I just heard you saying you have volunteer firefighter training. If you can get a partnership with the fire department and get one of the firefighters conditionally certified, you can start getting enhanced CTE money for that program.
That's interesting. I wonder how many we have.
So Jen, do you work directly with our principal? Is that who is Brenda our liaison with you?
She and I communicate. I'm guessing she's my liaison because that's the person I go to when I have questions.
Okay. That's true. So it's really between you and her. Gotcha. Okay. Great.
And they also work with the General Advisory Board, right, together as part of the whole thing. So because it's a school district plan, right, it's kind of this coordinated effort between all of us, right, Forks High School, Inside Washington, and the advisory board that we use for both.
Even though our online program, our ALE program does not get enhanced funding for those courses, which I think is wrong. The state cut that out of their funding. I don't know, has it been 10 years now?
I wanted to say it was about 10 years ago. It was right when I started. So in 2011, I think is when they cut it out.
But for our local students, for example, you get a weighted funding for a kid who's in a program. You get a 1.5 for every 1 FTE. But remember, a kid isn't in a full CTE program all day. So I think in our brick and mortar, we serve, when you're looking at combination of all FTE, maybe 30 or 40 FTE. That's it. Where Insight, you probably do, how many FTE are in your CTE program? Do you know? Full-time equivalent.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
I think it's well over 600.
Yeah. Thank you, Jen, for all that you do to help us.
Yeah,
Yes,
thanks.
thank you.
We appreciate it.
Great information.
Thank you.
Okay.
Myron, you want to let them know about our cook-off?
Oh yeah, I should, huh? So one of our students at Insight Washington, so K-12 did a national cook-off, and one of our students at Insight, so they did it was done in multiple phases, and the first phase, the students had to meet a certain requirement where they had to prepare a recipe that had certain requirements, basically kind of write down explicitly how it's done, show a picture of the recipe, and then I wanted to say there's 5 students nationally that went through phase 1 that have been selected to fly to Virginia to actually do this live for prizes, and it'll be in middle of July. We have one student, a 9th grader, will be flying out to Virginia and cooking in front of a former Chopped champion from the Food Network.
Wow.
A what
That's
champion?
Cool.
A
Chop.
former Chopped champion from the Food Network. I will get the link and I'll put it in the chat for you. Give me a quick second.
Somebody who cuts things up really quick?
Competition.
No.
Oh,
It's a competition.
They call it a
Okay.
competition, yeah. What are the prizes?
Food.
I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I am trying to find the link. I wanted to say it was pretty sizable if you win first prize. There you all get. I wanted to say the lowest tier was like $200 or $300 worth of equipment, and then the highest prize was much higher than that. Let me find the link and I'll give it to you. It actually has all the information about it.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Well, congratulations to him or her.
It is a female, and
Thank you.
her recipe was a salmon recipe that I think was salmon and peas or something like that. So
Yum.
it looked really amazing. I'll find it for you.
Any way we can get that up to Shelley for our next retreat?
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Well, we ought to really play that one
I
up.
know.
That's pretty.
It's a big deal.
That's pretty impressive.
Mhm.
Oh, I just found the website again. So the prizes are: first place is $1,000, second place is $500, third place is $350, and then fourth, fifth, and sixth or gift backs gets valued at $300 each.
Cool.
Nice. Keep us posted on how she does.
Yeah.
We will.
Okay. I don't have any idea where we were.
Financial.
We've done that. We've done that. Thank you, Jen, once again for the CTEA work. And we're going to move on to financial reports. Our May ending fund balance. That's you, Diana.
Oh, okay.
Aw.
Look, there's our vows.
There's my baby.
Yeah,
So did they all give a speech?
they did.
Good.
It was pretty cool. The girls were all
Girls
pretty
cried.
emotional.
Always did.
Nate was short, sweet, to the point.
But very heartfelt, very heartfelt. They did a really good job.
Okay. There's our flag.
So the lowest apportionment for May at 3.7, our expenditures were a little bit under, banking $123,000. You can see that for the month of May, we're at 19% of our overall, what used to be $49 million budget, and now it will soon be $54 million budget. And then you can see we're right about on the path where we were last year at this time. Yeah, go ahead. And so we're meeting our minimum fund balance 5%. And that 5.78% is not right. Oh yeah, overall with our reserved,
There's a few too many.
5.78%, and then that last one is not adding up for a total of 19.67, but I think that's where we're at. So
A lot of commas in that total.
there we go. If you looked at our
Wow.
general fund balance, though, you would see that we've overexpended, and that's why we did the budget extension tonight. We're at 11% of the general fund, and 111%, we can only expend 100%. So, and you already know the rest on that. So then if you go into enrollment for brick and mortar, for the month of May, we're down 41 FTE on the average, 19.27, and that seems to be the theme of all the surrounding districts, the regional districts. They're losing kids right and left.
So who's getting them? The colleges, junior colleges?
Running start
or
for the
I-5
higher,
corridor?
older kids, but just school choice that we're
Okay.
seeing with, I think that we saw with Insight.
So basically the destruction of public education.
More flexible learning. Elementary school, again, about right on target, a little bit above 16 FTE above. And that really is our TK. I think our TK, transitional kindergarten class, is already full for next year.
How many is that? 30?
No, we can only have 17, up to 17. Our K3 classes on the average, and then TK, if you put them all together, they can't be above 17 to 1. So we keep those around anywhere between 15 and 20. When you average, you have to take all your classes and then you average them out. Middle school, we've seen more transition there for a variety of reasons. Students opting into an online program, homeschool. A couple went back to the tribe, and I think we're down overall for the year 8. And so the biggest, again, at the high school, lost to Running Start. And that is a trend in all schools in Washington State right now, because during COVID, they pretty much opened up the requirements.
11th grade, that's a big difference.
Yeah, the most in 11, I think that's where we already know next year when budgeting, we have a better idea of how many are going. And I think we'll have about 30 12th graders left at the high school. The rest will all be in Running Start in there. And that really does change the landscape of our building. And then Homeschool Plus, actual 35. I think Cindy had reported 50, and that was not accurate. So on the average, 26 for the year. And then, of course, with our biggest jump, with our ALE program, 176 in our K-5. A pretty substantial increase in our middle school with 317. And then really about right on what we projected for the high school. One of the things that was changed, and you may or may not remember this, is that we did keep getting enrollment, allowing enrollment till the end. With our K-8 kids, is that right? Did I say that
We
right?
extended enrollment for K through 2 this last year. And then going into next year, the enrollment's basically going to be extended for almost all grade levels.
So we're expecting a larger population. And so then you can see our average, the 400 that we talked about to do the budget extension, with a total of, yeah, go to the next. An average for June, 3,698 overall, which is a mid-sized school district. Okay.
We're almost becoming the alternative school here at Brick and Mortar. Maybe we ought to just close it and go with ISW all the way. Think how much money we'd spend on buildings or how much we'd save. That was slightly tongue in cheek. All right. And I know it's on tape. Okay. Diana, do you have a board self-assessment?
It's that time, but what I was thinking, we did it last year and then we never did anything with it. So I was thinking that I'll do the next 2 together, that if we schedule a board retreat, and by the way, after going through the open public meetings, we do have to post it and allow public to come. So I was thinking that we could.
But do we have to feed them?
Well, that's up to us.
Okay.
And probably people won't show, but what I was thinking is that we could rent the ONRC, get it catered, and then you review your board self-assessment. So we would get it sent to you at the 1st of August or the end of July. You'd have a couple weeks to do it. And then you could spend a couple hours with me where we do our goals. So we would do 3 goals for you guys, 3 goals for me, base it on the self-assessment, base it on data. Us a little bit of time, and then we would eat and bring the administrators in so you can meet and greet and talk to the administrators and have dinner. But that way it doesn't put the pressure on anyone anywhere else other than we rent the ONRC. There's a public place where people could come sit and watch us if they want to come sit and watch us eat and talk.
Sure.
Would you please check your calendars to see if that would work, and then I'll see if ONRC, we only have 1 meeting in August. We have it the last Monday of the month. So this would be the Monday prior to. And I know everybody's summers are busy, so, but we would need to rent ONRC. I just think that's a good spot away from the school. Rather, we've done it at Ron's, Lake Place, but before, but he may not want the
You
public
don't want to
there.
invite the public out.
Bad enough having you.
Yeah, ONRC sounds good. You don't want to go back, oh, I guess the place out on the river's
We would
full.
never be able to get
Yeah.
the, yeah. I tried to get it last year and there was no way.
No way, yeah.
Yeah, they're booked.
What time are you thinking, like evening then?
Whatever you guys would want.
Well,
Early afternoon.
4-ish?
Yeah, 3 or 4-ish, where we do a couple of working hours. Couple of working hours for us, and then we do the dinner.
with the administrators.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds
Okay.
worth pursuing there. Everybody, I guess we can readjust if we need to.
But I would
that
like to
seems like part of
establish,
it.
at least for me, where you guys help me establish my 3 main goals that have measurable outcome, like if it's increase in our smarter balance scores, if it's looking at changing our CTE programs. I want to hear from you, and I want to be held accountable to 3 real tangible goals so I can go back to, like we did with our attendance this year. I mean, that really helped, I think, gain momentum in holding our kids accountable to attending. And I want to hear what you want to hold me accountable to.
Okay.
I want to be held accountable.
So what are you thinking, what, August?
Yeah, August the 19th.
That's a Monday.
Yeah. I'll have Hazel talk with you.
I might be available that day.
Okay. I'll have Hazel coordinate so she can solidify that. Okay.
One more thing on your plate, but it wasn't full, right?
No.
And then
Okay.
last but not least, the WASDA conference is in Spokane, November 21 through 23. They're game that weekend.
In Arizona, but I could fly out from Spokane to Arizona.
But if we want to get the early, if you're not interested in going or cannot go, let me know.
I cannot
If
go.
you're interested in going, then to get the hotel where the conference is, so we don't have to walk, we have to do it before September the 25th.
Well, I cannot go.
Before then.
Okay.
I'd probably do it before then.
Yeah, tomorrow.
I don't want to go.
Okay,
I can go.
thanks,
but
Diana.
I mean, I probably
And
won't
board.
go one day.
Okay.
I need to fly out. Right.
21st and 22nd.
I could do Thursday.
Board member reports. Anybody got anything?
I got a couple of things.
Okay.
Graduation, a couple people mentioned we went from one extreme to the other. You couldn't hear, or this year they got their ears blown out.
One guy told me his jaws were hurting.
And then another person mentioned, they had a child do the online school, but they didn't get any recognition at graduation. You know how some of the different clubs members got recognition? There was no recognition for the Inside School of Washington student. I said, well, I'd bring that up.
Okay.
That's all I got.
How about you, Kevin?
Yeah, I talked to Diana about this. You know, we talked about that we can pay ourselves $50 a meeting.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, you know, none of us obviously want it, but why don't we take that $50 and put it in a trust fund or a, I don't know what we call it. And we decide on what we do with the, because it would be $250 a meeting, $500 a month. Then we could do a scholarship, we could do whatever we
Donate to
decide
a
is.
club or something.
Yeah, something, any.
The only caveat is that you would have to pay taxes on it, and it's after tax. That's what I did look into the legality of it. So you would get paid, and then they would take the taxes out, and then they would 1099 you.
How
Yeah,
about
no.
that?
And then we would establish a trust in our impressed fund, and then that money would go over into the impressed fund. But because you're a board member, and that's what the legality of you getting paid for is, we can't bypass that part.
Can we just,
So it'd be $40 a month or $40 a meeting, or whatever the tax, we take the tax.
Can we set up a trust fund without getting paid? Can the board just establish one, but probably not with public monies? For scholarships or something?
Some legal.
Probably
So we
not with
wouldn't have to be
public,
paid?
public funding, yeah. Mm-mm.
So we'd have to get paid individually.
Right.
And then
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
Shannon
That's my
was your
understanding.
secretary and she'd put it in.
Yeah.
All did. Let's see how we break that.
I don't know, it'd be kind of fun to
The
do.
offset of the donations.
For taxes, donate.
Well, if you
Yeah,
wanna
then
get
it
paid
would
and
be
donate it,
offset.
you can,
Uh-huh.
but
Yeah, but I'm gonna pay the.
you don't have to take the pay either. I mean, if one does, the others don't. I mean, if one does, we all don't have to.
Yeah,
do.
we just need to create the resolution of what we would pay you, and I think that that $50 a thing may have changed. I'll look and see
Yeah,
in
well,
legislation.
That was.
But if
quite a-
you're
Well,
one,
we can't do that now anyway. You can't do it with if you're currently on the board, you have to do it for the next board.
no,
Is what I
I think
thought I read.
I'll go back to our board policy because we put the
We
latest
can't,
one
like, I
in.
don't think we can, as a board, can vote ourselves a raise.
I think you can't,
Well, how would it ever get voted in?
Well, you can vote it in, but it'd be for the next
cycle?
board.
you
Yeah,
do the
Well, you've been here
resolution.
for 26 years.
yeah, I
so
want my
you'll
back
never-
pay.
Your district will never have one.
I want
It's
my
a great
back,
idea though, Kevin, it really is.
I'll pay taxes on my back pay.
I mean, I'd be willing to pay whatever, a little bit of taxes.
Well, you're right, you could offset your taxes if you donate it by a donation.
Yeah, you get a donation.
Mhm.
Oh, that's true.
But I don't know.
Yeah, but you gotta itemize to get it.
Well, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, but
Go
it's
in
not
an
enough.
account, right?
Huh? Yeah,
Itemize it,
Whatever.
donating. It depends, though, you're right about how much you can take of that, I think.
yeah.
You know, and if one of us quits, then the next person can choose to do it or not.
Well,
I'm pretty sure that we would need to do a resolution that would establish the payment, and I think we can pay this board what that minimum is, but if you were gonna raise it, it would have to be for the incoming board member.
the new incoming
Mhm.
board member.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need to raise it.
So you would,
I have no idea how much it is now. I mean, it was $50 a meeting back when I first got on, and that was 30 years ago, so
Okay, I'll bring back all the details,
probably up to
but I
5,000.
did look
a
into
meeting.
what it would be. Okay,
Oh, yes.
Right.
I
2 or
just
3
think-
months of meetings, and we'd have that fund all secured and. All right.
Yeah, because it could be $4,000 or $5,000 by the end of the year, and then you could get a scholarship, you could do whatever, I don't know.
Do like 5 scholarships.
yeah.
Or we could have one heck of a good dinner.
Really good.
Yeah,
dinner.
All right, thanks, Kevin.
And what Mike said about that, I had 3 or 4 people come and say that the speaker system is horrible. And we just got that updated.
yeah, we just had some technical difficulties. I think our tech team knows what they are and we'll plan differently for next year.
And I had people say, why don't we do it in the new stadium?
Weather.
Yeah, I
It's a
mean,
covered stadium.
Yeah, you could all do it in the graduates sit in one section and the adults, and then, you bring the graduates up rather than have them sitting on a pedestal to begin with.
Or the graduates could be out on the field and get wet and we could be under the dry
Yeah.
stand. So,
There's a lot
Or we
of
could
us
rent
do.
those, we could
we
rent
do,
those
but it's
party
not as
tents.
personable. Like you don't have the slideshows always.
Oh, that's true.
You know.
Holograms on the
Even, I think even
clouds.
Port Angeles got rained on
they did.
during their graduation.
Show holograms on the clouds.
We will make sure the sound system is.
So do we
working
test it before graduation?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't,
So
they
it
just, they
must
had
be
some
little
wire
trolls or
glitches.
something.
Nathan's here. I mean, they know, they had just some
Okay.
wire glitches, yeah.
Start working on it now, Nathan. Graduation will be here before you know it. Okay, Ron,
I don't have anything.
Shannon?
Yeah, just, I thought graduation was great. I love this year, how Brenda brought back the cords and all the graduates had stashes that said class of 2024 on them that they got to keep. So they just looked really sharp. And so many kids got, like if you were on honor roll, over a 3.0, you got a certain cord. If you were over a 3.5, you got a different color cord. If you were, 4.0, you got another different cord. And then plus the sash, and then they all got lays, and they just looked really sharp.
Oh, good.
It was nice to see because you see other graduations and they always look really sharp, and ours just seemed really plain last several years. So I just thought that was a great addition.
Oh, good.
I was very impressed with the speeches, and I liked the way at the very end how Rowan Ball really complimented her other 4 valedictorians. It was really heartfelt. I felt like it was student centered.
I was teared up.
I was too.
Oh, the only thing I have is, well, Ron was there too. I went to this walkthrough with Hillary, what's her face?
Franz.
And France. Walkthrough, Diana did a really nice job of selling the need for timber dollars in our system. And she seemed open and receptive, but I suspect that she's that way with most presentations that are sent her way. But there were quite a few people from other junior taxing districts and such there, and she had a question and answer here, and it seemed like a very positive thing. I mean, if you haven't taken the tour, you ought to, because it's
pretty impressive,
this place is pretty darn impressive now. They were all kind of blown away by the stadium and the bathrooms, and I think we should stop calling it $1 million bathroom, because that's what things cost now, and people are going to get the idea that we wasted a lot of money on our bathroom.
Yeah, but after I said that, I also got to thinking really a good chunk of that was the site improvement with the pavement, the concrete, and then the fencing. I forgot that we added the fencing into this part of the project, all the way from where that starts and all the way around, which was probably about 300,000.
Yeah, well,
somewhere in there.
And I'm not totally serious about that. It's just because but I worked for an agency that spent, 15 or so years ago, spent $1 million on a bathroom in Washington, D.C. And, they were just ridiculed up and down, the political spectrum. And, what I found out in this is that's what it costs. Plus you add on the 10 or 15% that they get above what it cost is just to come out here and work with us. So, but we have one impressive school set up here.
Well, and the message so what I'm learning, and I'm a little bit slow, is that at all of the Board of Natural Resource meetings now, they're getting inundated with environmentalists who are trying to persuade the board members, and the board members are WSU, the president from UW, Chris Reichel. Bill Peach used to be on it, but he's been replaced by someone else. I don't know who all. Ron, you probably have a better idea who's on it. But they are getting bombarded with letters and public comment to persuade the board to not pass our sales in the junior taxing districts. And so in our walking, she said, we literally need your junior taxing district. We need you to show up. We know you know what to do. We need people like you to show up and say, this is how this money is important. It doesn't look like a lot of money to you. It's only 2% of our budget, but it's money that we don't get otherwise for any construction, for anything else. And so a lot of the people who were there are on this revenue advisory committee for the county that all the junior taxing districts are represented there. And that was part of, now they're sending us the agenda, what sales if they're in your junior taxing district. So I can just get on virtually and say, here's how important this is. But that's really what this was about, is that the other junior taxing districts haven't had as much experience maybe as we have. So.
Are you on that committee, you say, and you both do it virtually?
Who's some of the other junior testing districts?
Fire
The
district,
library,
hospital?
all the fire districts, all the other
Hospital.
school
Was the
districts, the
hospital
there?
hospital. I didn't see
Yes,
the hospital
yes, there
there.
was.
Was there somebody?
There was a lady that said she was at the Brooks Hospital.
Oh, I missed that.
I'm
Okay.
sure she said that.
But I know the
Because
library
I
was there.
was standing there and she was on this side.
Oh, I
That was
missed that.
before when you did the introduction.
Yeah, I missed it.
Port of Port Angeles, but I don't think the port gets it.
Well,
Not
and-
from, they get some stuff. Cause I'm on the timber advisory committee for the port. And they rely on junior taxing dollars also.
So your counterpart from PA was here.
Mhm.
Do they get a lot of,
They
they
do.
get some?
Well, they get bonds or levies.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't get it, they don't.
They don't get, they're not actually
Not
a
all of
junior
it.
taxing district
Mhm.
for DNR or for trust lands.
They have their own, yeah, if they pass a bond, just like us, they can
Yeah,
get the
they can
timber
get
money.
that timber money. Okay. Yeah, they have a hard time doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, that was very informative, and like I say, well done, y'all, because this place looks great. You know, kudos to Bill and his crew and
Yeah.
the office people. You know, one person mentioned to me that he thought, no, somebody, you mentioned it to somebody else, maybe it was to you, or to Bill Henderson, that the place looked brand new. And how old is this place?
Mhm.
13 years old,
Mhm.
almost?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that is kind of cool.
The
that
two
it still looks
attendants
that
who
way.
were with Hillary, one of them said it's beautiful out here and I don't ever want to leave.
Yeah, well, it didn't rain on her. Yeah, please keep it to yourself. All right. Where are we? Oh, we're on to page 3. Hallelujah. We have some old business to attend to. Amplify Forks Middle School English Language Arts 3-year curriculum package, not to exceed $27,000. Amplify, why the use of that word?
I don't know, that's
Oh,
the
that's the name of
curriculum.
it?
Yeah, that's the name of
Okay.
the curriculum.
I thought it was something to bring our attention to it. Okay, so how long since we've upgraded middle school English language arts, and are they speaking any, what's
I
the
think
gist
since
of what's better about it?
2016 or 2017, just more up to date.
Okay,
And there's a web-based and then there's also some hard copies.
okay, and who reviewed it?
Oh, were you not here the
I don't
night we
think
did
you
that?
were.
No, you weren't
No.
here. So there was a team,
Okay,
and they went through the whole process.
did you guys think it was pretty decent?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looked
Okay,
really
yeah.
good.
all right.
And they seemed really positive and had really good,
Yeah.
great feedback that they've
They
gotten.
piloted a portion of it. They piloted 2 different ones and they thought this one was the better one.
Okay, all right, great. Well, is there a motion to amplify the Forks Middle School ELA or approve the curriculum package for 2024-27?
I'll make the motion.
Thanks. Second?
I'll second.
Great. Any other questions
The
besides?
only thing we've asked when if they come back to us, we talked about that after it's been in place for a year and give us an update to make
Yeah,
sure what they
absolutely.
thought.
Good
I
idea.
think we did that with the elementary school also.
Okay.
To give feedback, because that's really good,
Yeah, to know
especially when
whether,
you haven't turned them over very long. I mean, 2016. I think we asked the question, what's wrong with the, is this outdated?
yeah, how is it?
So, anyway,
Okay,
that's my ask, is that we invite them back after a year at least and get feedback.
yep, I
Good to
agree.
hear.
Okay, all right then, all in favor of approving the 3-year curriculum package with Amplify for the Forks Middle School, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. Okay, it's approved. Temporary amendment of elected ASB class officers 24-25 school year. Is there a motion to approve this? Go ahead, Diana.
I'll go when you're ready for comment.
I'll make
Okay.
a motion, we approve
Thanks.
the two.
Is there a second?
Second.
Yeah, because, well, go ahead, Diana.
This was modified by and voted on by the membership. And it allows for, typically, we haven't allowed running start students to apply.
For officers?
But because so many of our kids are in running start, they don't have the interest in the ASB club. So they want to do a temporary year. They do have to be enrolled in the leadership class, the ASB class, and attend all the meetings, help fundraise,
Is there gonna be students that wanna do it?
you know.
Well, I'm opposed to it, but I guess I could say that to them. If they're not here, I don't see how they can effectively be an ASB officer. I feel like they need to be here
That makes
to
sense.
do it, but that was my initial reaction, and after some thought, it's still my reaction. You can't, I don't know, you can't have it. At some point in life, you gotta learn you can't have it both ways. If you wanna do that, you gotta be here. If you don't wanna do it, then go off, and do your thing. But that's, anyway, I'm just repeating myself, so.
I think like what Diana said, with all the kids going there, there's not a lot of kids here
Right.
to do any of the, and ASB is important.
Yeah, I think so.
So if we do have kids interested, I think it would.
I kinda agree with Bill. I mean, you're not, it is important, but
I want you to know that I wasn't the one who brought this forward, that it was the students who brought this forward. And again, I agree. I mean, we need to find ways to keep our kids here. I think though we're at a change in education and they want their flexibility. They want to be able to sleep in, go to work,
Gosh,
do their work
me
when they
too.
want. So, I mean, I don't know if it's kind of a,
but they're not gonna be here for the day-to-day stuff, so they're
So-
not gonna know what's going on really as much.
Can we word it in such a way that if there aren't enough in-building participants, we can open it to running start students?
So the way the ASB works is they draft different bylaws, then they vote on it. Whatever voted on, then it's brought to me to bring to you. So you have one of two choices,
Yeah, up or down?
up or down. If it goes down,
They need to revisit.
then I need to go back to them and explain why. And then they can figure out if there's another way to do it. But for us to tell them what's in their document, we can't do that.
Okay, I understand.
And this is a temporary,
This is I
This is
think
a
it's a 1 year.
only 1 year.
And they do have some things that they have to be eligible for.
Well, we don't know it, but,
meetings and-
right, but we don't know that it's a problem yet.
I think this year maybe their participation was down a little, and so they're trying.
Participation by who?
Well, I think they
Students.
tried to do the officer, didn't they already try to do the voting and they didn't have enough candidates?
And who's our advisor?
Claire Highfield, and I think that will be changing for next year. She stepped down. I wish Brenda was here.
Brady's gonna be replacing.
Brady King will be replacing her.
What was
And I
You
that?
know,
can
did
tell
they
you-
already do?
They had the elections, and it turned out that one of the students was part-time Rain Start, who ran for ASB president, and the other one was a full-time student here. And the full-time student did win, so now the Running Start student will be the vice president.
Got it.
That's how it ended, as far as I know.
But you say there's not enough students, like Dad went to school here. I mean, they had 20 kids in his senior class, or, there was 20 kids per class, and they found enough
And-
Yeah,
people.
but times are different, Kevin.
Not really.
And I will say, I listened to all the speeches, and I don't know if any of you did. We typically had one candidate for every position. So everyone was running unopposed, except for the ASB president. And there might have been one or two others. But
And
the
how,
way it all shut down, everybody who wanted to be on the ASB got a position.
There's just not a lot of participation, basically.
Most people are scared to do it.
But then I would say, based on what I saw at graduation, one of the shocking things, and then Elena did the same thing at the 8th grade. She highlighted students who were in a club, all the way from chess club to cheerleading to all this. I was really impressed with the engagement of our 8th grade students. I honestly was. I mean, I was kind of shocked how engaged they are, and I feel like the same thing happened at the high school graduation. I like the way they highlighted who was involved in FCCLA, because it brought a different experience.
well, everybody had their name in lights, kind of,
Uh-huh.
and that's important to recognition.
So
It's
it's,
important, yeah.
again, I just think it is an anomaly with this class. I don't know that, and I don't, so if they passed it already, voted for it already, they've already done it with a part-time running start, is it really gonna have an impact on this year?
So they did it without our approval?
They had the elections
Yeah,
last week of school.
Well, that, just on procedural, it ought to be voted down.
I don't know that I could have got it to you any earlier.
Well, they should have started earlier.
Good point.
Well, it was signed on the on the 28th. That was the day of our meeting,
May
wasn't it?
28th, yeah.
5/28/2024.
That was our last meeting, the day of.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's when it got signed. So,
So if we don't do anything, it stays the same for next year, and everything they've done so far this year, their officers and all are null and void, is that the deal?
Mhm.
So everybody, if we say no, if for some reason the board says no to this, then everything they've done is null and void, and they'd have to,
Yeah, I'd have to go back and figure
Yeah,
out
okay,
procedurally what to do.
just let me vote no as a statement, no,
Call for a
pass
vote,
it.
Bill.
What? Call for a vote, yeah, okay. Do we have a motion?
Oh, we do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. And what did you want to say? Did you say your piece, Diana?
I said my piece, yeah.
Okay. All right, all those in favor of temporarily amending, a temporary amendment to their ASB constitution for elected ASB class officers for 24-25 school year, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no.
No.
No. The ayes have it.
Okay.
Chaos has been avoided, but the message has been sent. Boy, I'd sure like to see what we do next year then. A lot earlier than.
Well, and that
Well,
would
I
be my
think-
feedback back to Brady and the students, and it might be interesting for me to bring one or two of you to hear their discussion.
Well, why don't you bring him in front of the board and tell them how the.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear them explain it to us.
We can't even get.
How are things going and what their issues are, because it is a club. basically,
Yeah.
right?
And maybe
I mean,
we've
but they
got
are-
a failure in ASB leadership, not student leadership, but adult. Why aren't kids interested?
Okay.
Maybe it's meaningless anymore.
That's a good point. Yeah, because we can't get.
We need to justify it.
We can't get a representative from the school to be on the board.
Yeah, that's right.
We used to have two of them.
Right, 3 at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, when toward the end of the year, none of them showed up. For a while there, they were
And in COVID.
backing up. Well, anyway, whatever. Okay, the next one is the amendment to the Forks High School Drama Club Constitution, updated March 9th, 2024.
Took out the middle school students' participation, so it's only Forks High School
And why was
participation.
that? Didn't work?
Middle school has their own, and yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't figure out what was missing, so.
Mhm.
Okay. Is there a motion to amend the Drama Club Constitution?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. Passes. It is amended. Out endorsement for this year?
just for summer school.
Oh, okay. for summer school this year. Gabriel Camarena Velasquez, English Language Arts, Jason Richard, Ingenuity, multiple core subjects. Is there a motion to approve these out of endorsements for the summer school year?
I'll make a motion.
Second,
I'll second it.
thanks. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay, they are endorsed. Forks High School Speech Debate and Dramatic Interpretation Club Constitution. Oh, cool.
This is a new
New
club.
club.
Mhm.
Well, is there a motion to approve this constitution?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Great. Questions? Who's the advisor?
Tashina Erickson, one of our new ELA teachers.
Oh, cool.
She's in her second year.
Okay. And how many kids do we have any idea
I
yet?
don't know.
Okay.
It'd be fun to go to one of those and watch it. Yeah,
Would be,
that's
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
When you watch politicians, how they can actually sit there and debate
Amazing.
and not
The skill.
start throwing
They
punches.
come to my dinner
Cussing
table
each other
sometimes.
out.
What?
So they gotta pay $149 to do that?
To debate?
Yeah, it says don't pay any dues to join the club. $20 NSDA membership fee and $149 annual school fee.
Or don't we pay that?
They probably raise it and then we pay it for them.
Yeah.
But to be a part of a national organization, you have to pay your dues.
Well, that's good. They want to be part of a,
Yeah, 'cause that
Bigger
keeps a lot of kids
organization.
out of it, they have to
Yeah.
pay that person.
okay, the Forks High School Book Club Constitution.
New group as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
We vote on that?
Do we,
Oh.
we need to vote on that.
Did they not vote?
The first
Well,
one.
I was thinking, we'll just
Did
go
they
through
vote
them all
on
and then vote on it.
Debate?
Yeah, okay.
Interact. They
I
did
don't think
vote?
we did vote on
They
that.
didn't vote though.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
no,
okay,
no,
so
Yeah,
yes.
we got the motion, so. All right, all those in favor of the Forks High School Speech Debate and Dramatic Interpretation Club Constitution, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. Nobody said no, so it passes. All right, now, is there a motion to approve the Forks High School Book Club Constitution?
I'll make a motion to approve the Forks High School Book Club Constitution.
I'll second it.
Okay,
Hmm?
split it. One half of it was to Ron and one half to Mike.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Ron's got it. The Ron's have it.
Oh, I know.
Okay. Any questions about the book club? I hope that we don't get, oh, never mind, I won't say it. Okay, all those in favor of the book club constitution, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. None opposed. We have a book club. Forks Honor Society Bylaws 2024-25 Addendum. Is there a motion to approve those bylaws addendum?
And so those bylaws are very similar to the ASB officer rules, where for 1 year they want to consider students who are not
in
enrolled.
brick and mortar.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Great. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. RCO, the RICO applicant resolution authorization 14 dash or slant bar 23-24. This is for the preliminary work on our ball fields.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is for the $1.2 million grant. It's one of the items that we have to have, and we have to submit this on Wednesday.
Okay, is it ready to go then? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we make a motion.
I'll second.
Great. All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Say no. Not hearing any of it. It passes. And the ball is rolling on the ball field.
Exciting.
We have an executive session. How long will it be?
probably 45 minutes,
Hmm,
and there will potentially be
a vote.
2 votes.
Okay, sorry, Hazel.
That's okay.
You don't have to move the tables tonight, though, I don't think.
Oh,
No,
I can move those.
Thank
You don't
you,
have to.
Sheila and Myron.
Summer school, summer's out.
Thank you for letting us sit in. Have a good evening.
Have a great evening.
I never did ask them for any input, sorry.
That's okay. I was gonna say, we
Sorry.
probably should go over, at the next meeting, Myron's graduation too. They did really, really well.
That's too long a meeting for me to remember that,
I forgot.
sorry.
Sorry, Myron.
Myron, are you there?
Their graduation.
I am still here.
We're sorry, I wanted to hear about your graduation.
Oh, don't stress about it. We're good.
Next time, next
I
meeting.
think we're gonna have to change our graduation. rule.
All right,
All right. Thank you, guys.
yeah, see you later.
Next year's graduation?
Okay, you're good. No, you're back, you're back.
Are we on, we're not being taped, are we?
Yes.
Wait,
Write it down for me, please.
Thanks, Nathan. Somebody missed this one.
did I?
Okay. We are back in session after a break for executive session. We have, we need to take action on a recommendation of non-renewal for a Nicholas Kubeski, 7th grade history teacher in our middle school. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we vote for non-renewal.
I'll second it.
All righty. All those in favor of non-renewing Nicholas Kubeski, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Nicholas Kubeski is non-renewed. Then we need a motion concerning Diana Rayom, superintendent, amending her contract to reflect a 6.0% increase instead of the 3.7% that was negotiated earlier in the year due to the 6% that certificated staff members received due to bargaining for the coming year, or something like that. Is there such a motion? You don't have to repeat it word for word, just the motion
I'll
part.
make a motion.
Thanks. Is there a second? Is that good enough? Is it how you would have said it?
Yeah.
All right, do we have a second?
Kevin.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor of the motion, which has been taken down by our recording secretary, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. That concludes business for this evening. We are adjourned.
sign all this?
That was long.
I'll message.
Here, I don't want the.
My watch died.
I bet. I'm about to die.
Oh. Are you gonna get in trouble?